I'm Marisa Semense, the Executive Director of Long Beach CAP. If you'd like to learn more about our services, please listen to this conversation. So I first heard about Long Beach Community Action Partnership through a friend of mine, actually, who was the Executive Director of Children Today. And this is when LBCAP was over at the other building on Long Beach Boulevard when we leased the space from the Salvation Army. And she came to me, and I was operating a homeless shelter at the time called Project Achieve. And she said, there's this new agency, or it's not a new agency, but there's an agency that I think you need to know. They have a new space. Let's go visit. And it was really interesting, actually, because the first time I walked through the halls of Long Beach Community Action Partnership, I actually felt like it was somewhere I could work. And you don't often get that feeling, especially because running the homeless shelter, I was very fortunate to have started the program kind of from ground up. But I was getting to a time where I really needed to transition from that into something else. And so meeting Derek Simpson, who's the previous executive director. I think meeting him was the catalyst into me moving from Project Achieve to LBCAP. The interesting thing also is that I didn't actually apply for a position at LBCAP. During ARA, which is the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, during that time, LBCAP received additional funding. And with that funding came additional opportunities. And Derek and I were talking, and he said, if you had $1 million, what would you do with it? And immediately, my mind just started sparking on the things I could do with that type of funding. And it was, it must have been meant to be, because he literally said, I didn't come here to offer you a job, but if you're interested, I'd love to work with you. And so that's actually how I got started at Long Beach Community Action Partnership. The Long Beach CAP we're a community action agency, and there are 1,100 community action agencies throughout the nation. And one thing about community action agencies is, my predecessor used to always say, if you've seen one community action agency, you've seen one. And the reason for that is because there's this opportunity for a community action agency to really look at what's happening in the community in which it lives, and figure out where the gaps in services are, where the enhancements need to be, and you're able to craft your programs around what's needed in the community. And I think that's one of the reasons why our programming, LBCAP, is so interesting, because we can't tie a nice little ribbon around everything that we do. We do energy efficiency. We help people with their taxes. We offer grant support to other nonprofits. We do a youth leadership program, and we run PADNet. And so it's interesting because, obviously, like I said, there's not a little ribbon that ties everything together. But if you take all of the components apart and you look at them individually and as a whole, you start to see where it meets the needs in the city of Long Beach. I'm a really, really big fan of community action, and I feel like now I'm kind of a lifetime servant to community action. The community action funding, we get funded through CSBG, which is Community Services Block Grant. There's a lot of flexibility in the Community Services Block Grant. And community action actually, LBCAP itself actually was started in 1979. But community action came out of the fight against poverty in 1964. And there was a ton of programs that really were created to specifically fight the war against poverty. And community action agencies resulted from that. And so I think having such a rich history, having such an amazing network, like I said, there's 1,100 in the nation. So having that support. So even though for instance, we specifically serve Long Beach and its surrounding cities, other community action agencies have counties or multiple counties. And, I'm very proud to say that I believe there's at least one community action agency in every major county in the United States, which is amazing. And so being a part of just a community and a community of all like-minded individuals who really want to improve the quality of life, help people lift themselves up, help them, help each other. I think that's really, really powerful. Long Beach in particular, it's funny because I feel like Long Beach kind of is its own little state. We're a small enough city to where a lot of people know each other and engage, but we're in a large enough city to, where we can house over 500 nonprofits. So one of the things I think that makes Long Beach unique in needing a community action agency is because, the other community action agencies are more in LA County, and LA County is so huge. And then we have San Bernardino County and we have Orange County. And, you kind of get lost in that space in LA County. And so having a community action agency specifically for Long Beach and kind of this side of the South Bay area of Long Beach, I think is really important. The LBCAP mission statement, it's really about embodying hope and strength in the community. It's actually funny because we are, with our board, we're actually having a retreat soon, and we're going to revisit our mission statement and our vision statement to make sure that it's still relevant to who we are and what we do. And I think that's really important to always self-reflect. So my vision for LBCAP has actually changed slightly, and of course it's because of the pandemic. When I first applied for the executive director position, so I've actually been fortunate to be an employee of LBCAP for 12 years. I spent 5 years as a director, almost 6 years as the chief operating officer, and I've been very fortunate to get the role of executive director. And when I applied for that role, it was pre-pandemic. And so a lot of the vision I had was just, really looking at the programs that we had, really solidifying our infrastructure, being grounded in North Long Beach, really trying to figure out a way to make more of an impact in North Long Beach. And then the pandemic hit. And with so many other agencies, you kind of have to take a step back and evaluate what you're doing and how you're doing it. Being a community action agency, again, and having the CSBG funding, we actually were written in one of the first stimulus packages. And so we were able to pivot really quickly and focus the needs, still operate our core services, but really look at focusing on what's happening within the community. And so as a result of that, we actually created a new program called Community Economic Recovery and Reinvestment Alliance, and SARA for short. And with SARA, we've been able to look at food security, housing security. We already operate the energy program, and so housing security and offering rental support, kind of fit nicely hand in hand in what we're currently doing. But addressing food security, I think, was a really big, not necessarily a big shift for us, but a really important position for us to take, because obviously food security is one of the most basic needs. And so I've had a lot of time to reflect on kind of the vision of LBCAP, and now after going through the pandemic and, hopefully we're coming out on the other side of it, really looking at how to sustain those programs. I don't think that our community is going to get back to the way we were. And so if we don't, how do we adjust? What basic needs has the pandemic highlighted that we as a community action agency really need to do a better job at addressing and serving. And so I think that's a lot of where my vision for LBCAP has moved towards. The holistic approach or holistic concept is really about kind of meeting individuals and families where they are and trying to wrap services around them to, meet whatever barriers that they're experiencing to self-sustainability. And, we are one of the, being myself, I feel like you can't be everything to everybody, because if you try to do that, then you kind of water down your services and, you're a master of none, so to speak. And so having a holistic approach really the strength of it is partnership, is partnering with other community members, other nonprofit agencies, because if there are services that we can't provide, then we can either make a referral to somebody who who can assist in that area, or through our community advocacy and family services grants, we can help fund other nonprofits to enhance the services that they're already providing. And so, again, kind of taking that holistic approach really means looking at the individuals and trying to wrap as many services around them as we possibly can. So we have many programs offered through LBCAP. I think our largest program is our energy services. We actually provide services to the entire eastern Los Angeles border, and it's the HEAT program, which is the Home Energy Assistance Program. And that program is actually two different departments. So the first department is utility assistance, and so we will assist individuals with a one-time payment for their utility bills, either gas or electric. And then the second component of that is weatherization services. So individuals, we can go into their homes and their apartments as long as we get the owner's permission, and we really look at the energy efficiency levels, and we try to improve the quality of life. So for instance, if somebody does not have, if somebody has a broken air conditioner or heater, that's something that we can help resolve and either install a new one or fix the current one. We do stoves, microwaves, refrigerators, broken windows, water conservation. So there's a lot of things that we can do for individuals in their homes to, again, just improve their quality of life. One of the things that's really interesting now is that we're getting additional funding through ARPA, which is the American Recovery Plan Act. That's one of the stimulus packages that's recently been released. So we're gearing up to, I think, double the services for our utility assistance, especially because with the moratoriums in Long Beach, it's shocking how much people are in debt for their electric bills or their gas bills. And so our program will really help alleviate a lot of those arrearages. We're also very fortunate because we'll be receiving some federal funding for a water program as well, so we can help alleviate the arrearages in the water program. So that's our largest program, is certainly our energy program. We also operate Vita, which is a volunteer income tax assistance program. Now, Vita, I'm very proud of our Vita program. Tricia Heath, who is one of the directors in our agency, her skill in tax assistance is incredible, and we're one of the only programs who operate year-round. And so we operate a regular tax season, and then we also operate throughout the year. And throughout the year, she's able to do multiple year taxes, taxes that are a little bit more challenging than kind of regular taxes. And, we have a focus on the earned income tax credit, which I think is key to help, especially low-income families get out of poverty, is through the earned income tax credit. And so that program, we accept volunteers. We process, I think last year we processed almost 900 tax returns, and we brought in, over $1 million back into the community members' hands, which is, I think, really important. And it's a free service. So in addition to that, the families also save on their tax preparation in general. Then we move to our youth programs, and our LAMP program, which is Leadership Arts Mentoring Program, is really one of the staples in our agency. And we teach leadership through the arts, which, again, being in Long Beach, so close to Los Angeles, kind of the entertainment mecca, it makes a lot of sense for us to provide these services. So we have music production, graphic design, photography, and then film and TV production. And so it's really incredible to be able to teach the youth on industry quality equipment, So the youth that come in, they learn how to operate these cameras. They learn how to operate. We have the full Adobe suite, so they'll learn Photoshop and Illustrator, and for music programs, we'll teach Logic and Pro Tools. So it's really fantastic that we're able to offer such leadership training through the arts to keep them engaged. And in addition to that, we teach them critical thinking. We have workshops on financial education, so we can prepare the youth how to, because not only understand how to manage their finances, but how to be successful managing their finances moving forward. The programs that we offer in the summer, we're very fortunate to offer an internship, and it's a paid internship. So the youth can come and they can learn these skills while being paid and have, kind of a summer job, so to speak. Through the pandemic, however, without being able to operate indoors, we had to rethink the services that we offer. And so with our LAMP program, we actually introduced gardening as a component, which really, I think, has just made such a huge impact on the youth that we've served, because many of the youth have been also living in the pandemic, not necessarily being able to go to school, go out with their friends, kind of have any sense of normalcy. And so being able to have the youth go to a local garden in North Long Beach called Organic Harvest Garden, which is a wonderful agency that we partner with. And they're able to learn traditional gardening. They're able to learn hydroponics, and aquaponics, which is the wave of the future, I've heard, for urban gardening. And they're able to ground themselves in really kind of learning what it takes to grow your own sustainable food. And the youth that we have now, it's so enriching for the soul to be able to have youth operating in the program again. And so it's only kind of sparked our desire to get our original LAMP program back up and running once we are able to really freely work, within an indoor environment. And then we also have our community advocacy and family services, and that program is a little bit different because we are able to grant funding to other nonprofits that we partner with. And I spoke about it earlier in regards to being able to enhance what other agencies are doing. And so we look at the vulnerable populations, like seniors and veterans and domestic violence and children under the age of 5. And because we are not in a position to provide direct services, we partner with agencies in the community who really specialize in providing services to those populations. And so we're able to enhance what they do, and that really pushes not only our mission forward, but their mission as well. And then lastly is PADNet, Public Access Digital Media Network. We are very honored to be able to operate the public access channel for the city of Long Beach. And a lot of bringing PADNet and the community voice and highlighting nonprofits and other community work, and having individuals such as yourself and Andrew and all these creative individuals that we have be able to create their own media, share their stories, share their ideas. I think that's really important, and one thing that ties the Long Beach community together. I am so fortunate because the staff, the leadership staff at Long Beach CAP, we've been together for a while. And Tricia, the woman that I spoke of earlier who does our Vita, she's been with the organization for over 20 years. And Ray, who is our finance director, he's been with the agency for 14. So, we have a really, really tight-knit leadership group. And however, all of our programs have direct managers as well. So Megan Nunley, who operates our utility assistance, she's been in the HEAP program actually for 35 years. We've been fortunate to have her for 12. So, I think it's really, it's kind of one of those things like your programs are only good as your staff. And so I feel very fortunate that we have very quality, highly dedicated staff at every level of service that we operate. But I do think it starts from kind of the leadership management team and being able to support each other, having our HR, which is Crystal Burks, being able to support each other. I choose to run the agency more like a democracy. We have conversations, we talk about the impacts, the risks, the liabilities that the organization might have to deal with in order to make a decision moving forward. But I know that as a team, as we move forward, if we do it as a team, then there's a lot higher opportunity for us to succeed. And then moving with our board of directors, I also feel very fortunate because many of our board members have been on the board for several years. And so they've seen the transition not only from, my predecessor to myself, but they've seen me grow as the chief operating officer into the executive director role and are exceedingly supportive of making sure that I feel successful, making sure that the agency is staying true to our mission, staying true to our vision. I think that type of support really goes a long way in ensuring that you're able to be successful moving forward. I think with the SARA program that I briefly mentioned earlier, being able to meet housing security and food security, I think was one of the most rewarding aspects. And we didn't do it in a silo. We partnered with other community agencies, and some of the agencies gave out grocery vouchers to the individuals and the families that they served, and some of the other agencies did like hygiene, and we were able to support a local domestic violence program. So I think the reach of the SARA program has really kind of even surpassed what I originally imagined. An example is, actually two examples specifically for food security, is we were able to partner with a restaurant called Bebo, which is a Filipino fusion restaurant. And right when the pandemic hit, they immediately lost a huge support of their revenue. And on their own, they decided to turn into a community kitchen because they saw the need immediately as the pandemic hit. And we were able to partner with them for 4 months to enhance the services, to be able to fund 1,000 meals a month being distributed. And, I think that's exceedingly impactful. And then we transitioned to a program called Help Me, Help You, and they're a food pantry. And, one of the things that felt really great is that we were able to enhance what they were offering to include fresh produce, meat, and dairy for every family that went through. And receive services from them. And so knowing that not only are we providing the staples, but we're also enhancing and really improving the nutritional value and the health of those individuals and families who are receiving food from those organizations, I think that's very, very powerful. And then for housing security, we were able to partner with 6 local nonprofits to help with rental support. And so it was a one-time payment of $1,000. But I think even that, any assistance to help make sure that people have housing security and feel grounded in being able to move forward is really important. I think LBCAP is really important to Long Beach because, again, being able to kind of fit in those gaps, fill in those gaps where services are needed, I think is really important. Energy, the energy program, as I stated earlier, which is one of our largest, that impacts everybody. And we provide services to the entire eastern Los Angeles border, specifically in Long Beach. And so we're able to touch every district, every area of the city of Long Beach. And I do think that that's really important. And then, being able to, again, kind of take the holistic approach and work with other community partners and fund other agencies and the services that they provide, makes a big impact. And with other community leaders, it's the nonprofit is such a big, small world. And unfortunately, nobody's at a loss for finding individuals that need our assistance. And so when that happens, being able to collaborate together, being able to, kind of support each other and stand on each other's shoulders and making sure that we can reach as many families and individuals in need as possible is definitely the way to move forward. And that's the way you heal your community, is making sure that everybody who is in a leadership position, who runs other nonprofit, who runs other entities that support the community, if we are all coming together and supporting each other, then that reach, magnifies, and we can assist more people. So the LBCAP annual fundraiser is very cleverly named LB Nightcap. And it really is a celebration. It's an evening of dancing and collaborating and partnering with individuals, and it's a celebration. And we are definitely hoping to bring the event back in early to mid 2022, and I think one of the things that's really important for Nightcap is just the camaraderie. We are very fortunate to get sponsors. We have an auction item, and in the past we've been able to sell the T-shirts that the LAMP students have made and things like that. But it's an early fundraiser. We're every year I think we're improving and we're developing further, and we're getting more sponsors and having more people participate. So it's a growing event, and it's very fun. So I think supporting Long Beach CAP through our fundraiser, and actually we have 2 online campaigns. We are very, very fortunate to be participating in Long Beach Gives this year. And then we also have a campaign called Capture the Giving Spirit for Giving Tuesdays. And so through the fundraiser and through these online campaigns, it's really important, one, to feel supported by the community, but also the funds go directly into sustaining the organization. We are very fortunate that we receive federal funding, especially for our CSBG funding, as well as our energy program. But programs such as LAMP and the public access PadNet, those funds, or the funding that we receive, really helps to continue those programs and enhance the services and reach more community members. And so receiving donations to strengthen the infrastructure of the organization, it's really honestly kind of the only way to ensure the longevity and the sustainability of a program. Where do I see LBCAP in 10 years? I think that's a really interesting question. I think the beautiful answer to that is I see LBCAP continuing to respond to the community needs. And so what our community looks like in 10 years, I think, is what LBCAP will be able to mimic and meet. It's again, I think with this pandemic and not knowing how the world is going to change moving forward, I feel a lot of comfort in knowing that we have the infrastructure, we have the staff, we have the passion, we have the dedication to be able to adjust the services that we have in order to meet those needs. I certainly know that we'll be continuing to operate the energy program. I think that as an organization and the size of our service territory, being able to advocate on kind of a higher level to ensure, that we have the energy stability is going to be really important moving forward. I'm Marisa Semense, the Executive Director for Long Beach Community Action Partnership. If you've enjoyed this conversation, please visit our website at www.lbcap.org and get involved in the many programs that we have. Thank you.